Magandang umaga, Filipinas. Good morning. You're watching Eagle News Mornings from Canada. I'm Thomas I. Likeness reporting from our Eagle News studio in the Western Canadian province of Alberta. My city is Edmonton, and we're here to bring you news and commentary from across the country. Well, a good Tuesday morning to you. Let's have a look at the weather in Metro Manila. AccuWeather forecasting a thunderstorm in spots of the city this morning, with more thunder boomers expected this afternoon and evening. High of 32 degrees today with a real feel of 39. Currently mostly cloudy, 27, and that feels like 32. The air quality, if you're going outside today, take a little bit of care there because the air quality rated as only fair. Just made another pot of coffee, so grab that. I think there's a bit of Panasol left. Now, don't fight over it. Don't fight over it. Sit back, relax, and I'll tell you what's happening in Canada. First, we'll take a look at the weather across the country. Our street scene today coming from Deep Cove. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Deep Cove, and that's in North Vancouver. And thanks to Anna, she only wanted to be identified as Anna. Anna from Vancouver gave us that shot. Well, starting on the west coast, Victoria mainly sunny. That is beautiful there. I love that Deep Cove. Victoria, mainly sunny and 26. Vancouver, 23 with sunshine. We go westward over the Rockies to Alberta, where it's sunny and 27 in Edmonton. Calgary, lots of sun and 23. In Saskatchewan, Regina, mainly sunny and 24. Saskatoon, mainly sunny and 25. Some clouds in Winnipeg, 24 degrees. Toronto, it's a real heat wave there. Bit of a scorcher, mostly cloudy, 29 degrees, and you know it's humid there. They get that breeze right off of Lake Ontario. Ottawa, 26 with clouds. Montreal, mostly cloudy again. Very, very hot there, 29. The Atlantic province is kind of a mixed bag. The further you go east, the cooler it gets. We start out in Fredericton, where it's sunny and 28. Halifax, it drops down to 23, mostly cloudy. And in St. John's, Newfoundland, there's mist in the air, and it's really cooled off. Only 15 degrees there. And that's a look at the weather across Canada. Love that picture of Deep Cove in North Vancouver. All right, here are some of the stories we're following today. 6 months later, so what do things look like in Canada now? Learn to live with it. That's the word from Alberta's top doctor on COVID-19. Consumer spending in Canada's picked up. Ontario putting more money into schools. Well, this past weekend marked the half-year point since the first case of COVID-19 was confirmed in Canada. The patient, a man in his 50s from Toronto. He had traveled to Wuhan, China. 2 days after he was hospitalized in Toronto, his wife became the second coronavirus patient. Well, we all know what happened next. The number of cases began to grow. People were dying. People were panicking. Store shelves emptied of face masks, hand sanitizers, toilet paper, of course. Basic goods became hard to get as the panicked buyers piled their shopping carts high. Then the lockdowns, the cancellation, sporting events, concerts, recreational activities, all those summer gatherings that we've grown to love, all canceled until further notice. Students got an early summer vacation as schools began to close by the end of March. Provinces across the country declaring varying states of emergency, implementing public health orders to keep people safe. Businesses closed up, people lost their jobs. Suddenly, rush hour traffic disappeared. People were staying home. Well, over the 6 months, COVID-19 infected more than 114,000 Canadians. Nearly 8,900 people died. And here we are 6 months later. The curve had begun to flatten. 8 weeks ago, restrictions began to ease, but as things opened up, a new problem emerged. They call it pandemic fatigue. People were becoming immune, not to the disorder, not to the infection. They were becoming immune to the public health warnings. You know, as restaurants and bars reopened, social distancing became less of a concern. You know, people blame the patrons, but I also blame the owners. Keep them apart. Keep them apart. You know, even the people who didn't patronize eateries, they said, I'll be safe, I'll stay home. They began hosting barbecues and other social gatherings, and again, the virus happily spread. COVID-19 loves a party. That statement came from our Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Dina Hinshaw. We'll be hearing from her in a bit. She made that statement as she warned people to avoid things like potlucks and sharing food. Although those least likely to heed the warnings, least likely to heed the safety precautions, they were the younger people, those under 40. And right now, they, not the seniors, but they have the highest rate of infection in Canada. We've heard people say, well, the infection doesn't hit younger people as hard. It's just minor. It's like the flu, you know. But the less likely they are to die. Yeah, that's true. They are less likely than seniors to die, but they can still spread it. And then there's this observation from our top doctor, Dr. Dina Hinshaw. She says, even if you had a minor case, even if you do survive, what are the long-term effects?
Important to remember that surviving this virus can still be awful and life-changing. There is some emerging evidence of the long-term outcomes of COVID-19, particularly for those who have more severe illness, such as an ICU admission. There can be long-term damage, such as higher risk of diabetes and lung damage that doesn't go away when the infection ends. Regardless of age, we don't yet know what impact COVID-19 will have on your lifelong health. This is not something to take lightly.
Words to consider, you know, especially when there's world leaders who say the effects on young people are minimal. Just like the flu. No, it's not just like the flu. So what's the outlook? Well, there's no sunshine and rainbows coming from Doc Hinshaw, just the stark reality, the plain truth, at least in Canada here. We're going to have to learn to live with this virus for some time.
Of COVID-19, but this virus doesn't care. We have no choice but to learn how to live with it. This means learning how to reduce risk while conducting a barbecue or visiting with our cohort. It means we need to minimize the risk of contracting the virus and the risk of spreading it to others. It also means protecting those most at risk while not isolating them to the point of suffering.
The biggest fear people have now is a second wave of the infection. An Alberta senator wants the Canadian government to get into the vaccine business. Senator Doug Black worries if we rely on vaccines developed in other countries by foreign drug companies, they may have to stand in line to get that shot. One company, Providence Therapeutics, has said it could have 5 million doses of the vaccine ready by the middle of next year if it successfully completes human testing. Black wonders why the government has not made a decision on a $35 million proposal to fund that company. People in British Columbia apparently don't like strangers. Locals harassing people with out-of-province license plates. Premier John Horgan says, well, you know, if you come here, maybe take the bus, ride a bicycle. That'll avoid the problems. He suggests also drivers maybe change their license plates over to BC plates to avoid trouble from residents who are concerned about the spread of COVID-19. Or I have a suggestion, just stay away. Don't go to places where you're not welcome. So what are Canadians doing with their money these days? According to Royal Bank economists, consumer spending stabilized by the middle of July. That solidified a rebound that's been weeks in the making. People seem to be staying away from stores, though. They're opting instead for remote buying, particularly in categories where, you know, you've got delivery. I'm not only talking about Amazon, though. I'm talking about things like curbside pickup. That's been broadly accepted. Online spending stayed robust, with categories like clothing, dining, and groceries all seeing more permanent increases in online sales. In-person entertainment and health spending bounced back as well to pre-pandemic levels. And that's not surprising, you know, because, quite frankly, there's few online alternatives to things like recreation centers and gyms. Well, my city, the city of Edmonton, welcomed professional hockey players on the weekend. NHL teams began arriving on Sunday. Hundreds of players, media, support staff, they're expected to converge on the city. As we've told you before, Edmonton and Toronto, the two hub cities that will accommodate the teams as the league finishes its season with playoffs and final games. All of those involved are confined to a restricted area downtown. The players are housed in 4 hotels, 3 of them connected by a pedway to the arena and other services. And this activity, very, very welcomed by the downtown, is bringing some much needed business to these downtown establishments. Let's talk about rural healthcare for a moment in rural and remote areas of Canada. And I'm sure this is a problem worldwide. You know, once you get out of the big cities, those specialized medical services become scarce. The Canadian Medical Association warning that small towns risk losing surgical and obstetrical services, all because of a shortage of anesthetists. You know, the people who put you to sleep. Although 18% of the country lives in small towns, they only get 8% of the doctors. The association says we need to train more specialists in anesthetics now. Right now, we've got in Canada about 3,300 of them, but more than 13% of them are over the age of 65. So that means new graduates, well, they'll probably choose to remain in an urban environment. They like the advantages of the big city. This phenomena is called the urbanization of medical services, and I'm sure you find it in the Philippines there too. You get outside of cities like Manila, outside of Baguio, and you find a scarcity of specialized medical care. This is Eagle News Mornings from Canada. I'm Thomas I. Likeness. 19 minutes past 7 o'clock, 27 degrees in Metro Manila. Schools in Ontario getting a multi-million-dollar upgrade. We have that story from Eagle News correspondent Sabrina Solano de los Reyes. We'll get back to that story in a moment. Sports fans know what a true leader Oklahoma City point guard Chris Paul is on and off the court. Tenny Samagi shares how the All-Star, and he's also president of the Players Association, met with former First Lady. You remember her, Michelle Obama. He met with her, plus the NBA and WNBA impact on social justice and voting. Those were all topics on the agenda. Tenny, tell us all about that.
Chris Paul, better known as CP3, is a leader on and off the court. On Sunday, he shares with us, or as media, the plans for the NBA on social justice along with the WNBA. Take a look.
But one of the biggest things that I said that I'm most proud of is our players that, you know, we agreed to $300 million going to social justice issues that players get an opportunity to determine where it goes. Like a board be created, and our players, we said it, you know, it's bigger than just putting our names on the jersey, and that's one part of it. We said that we want to see more black and brown people in front offices, more black people in positions of power, not just coaches. We're talking about heads of organizations, and we want to see that. You know, we talked to the league about that, you know what I mean? So there's a few things that we wanted to see happen. The jerseys are part of it, but we know that we need the money and the funding to really make change or whatnot. So those are things that I'm proud that our players, you know, stood up for and talked about before coming down here. You know, we're going to try to keep having as many talks as possible. Obviously, their schedule is different from ours at times. I'm unbelievably proud and happy that today we'll be having a conversation about voting, you know, with the NBA and the WNBA, and Michelle Obama will be our guest, you know what I mean? And we're going to talk about the importance of voting and making sure your voice is heard, and I think that's very important that we're doing this together, right? Not just the NBA players, not just the WNBA players, but we're doing it together. And that way we can hear each other. We can share stories and know how each other feels, because, you know, hearing the women speak is powerful. It's powerful. I have a wife, obviously I have a mother, but more importantly, I have a daughter, you know what I mean? So, you know, I have to protect her and make sure that she stood up for it too. So big shout out to the women and what they're doing.
For more on Chris Paul, the Thunder, and the other 21 NBA teams, tune into Eagle News for your daily dose of highlights. In New York, Tenny Samagi, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Before you go, Tenny, let's talk about CP3, his Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, many don't talk about, I don't even think they would be a playoff-bound team. What do you like about this team?
Yes, they are a surprise to many because as we recall, CP3 was traded to Oklahoma, the Thunder for Russell Westbrook to Houston because of he didn't bond with James Harden, and there were many doubters like, oh, he was going to be traded. He's not going to last there. This Oklahoma City Thunder, who also acquired Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's Canadian, by the way, and a great player, future NBA star in the making, and Danilo Gallinari, when they were traded to the Thunder for Paul George to the LA Clippers, that this team was pretty much out of the picture. They sit comfortably in the 5th position. They are a great team thanks to the leadership of CP3 and just the talents of the two talents of Gallinari and Gilgeous-Alexander. Plus, you can't forget Steve Adams, a great center, and there's also a great coach in Billy Donovan. So I like this team. I don't like their chances to winning the NBA just because there's the Lakers, Clippers, but we should not doubt the Thunder. Thunder up.
Okay, let's go from men's basketball to women's. The WNBA is back for its 24th season. That's almost a quarter century, and they're playing in Bradenton, Florida. That's for those of you trying to put the geography together, a couple of hours west of Orlando. Who's your favorite there?
I remember when the WNBA started in 1997, and I was a senior in high school, and one of the things I said to my English teacher jokingly was, you know, someday I will play in the WNBA and be known as the shortest guard to ever play in the league.
How tall are you?
I'm 5 feet. I mean, Muggsy Bogues played in the NBA and he was 5'3", so anything's possible, right, Tom?
It is. Thank you for joining.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, my choice, one last thing.
Yes,
my choice to win, yes, is the Seattle Storm. I am a big fan of Sue Bird. She's from New York. She's a legend, WNBA legend. She's already 41, still playing in her, I don't even know, it's like her 20th season. Love the Storm. And Breanna Stewart is back, the 2018 MVP. I like their chances.
Thanks for the update, Tenny, and we'll see you again. Let's get back to that story about schools in Ontario getting that multi-million-dollar upgrade from the provincial government there. And again, that story from Eagle News correspondent Sabrina Solano de los Reyes.
On July 23rd, the Government of Ontario made an announcement that it will invest over $500 million into 45 new school projects, 30 of which are the building of new schools all across Ontario. The other 15 are for the refurbishing of existing schools. Premier Doug Ford says that these projects are a significant investment in Ontario's school system. Take a look.
I'm here today to announce our government is investing $12 billion over the next decade to build new schools and refurbish and expand existing ones. That's $12 billion, the largest capital investment in our school system in a generation. This year alone, we're investing $500 million to build 30 brand new schools and expand 15 existing schools, creating 25,000 more student spaces by 2023.
Part of this billion-dollar investment will go towards building 30,000 licensed childcare spaces in schools, including 10,000 spaces in new schools. Because of these upcoming projects, new job opportunities will arise, and more school staff and teachers will be in demand. Here's Minister of Education Stephen Lecce for more details.
There are over 330 schools and childcare projects either in the planning stages or already have shovels in the ground as we speak, and roughly 90 are tracking to open this September. Now, our government has approved 45 new projects, including 30 brand new schools, 15 permanent significant additions to existing schools. new schools, major school additions, nearly 900 childcare spots supporting the next generation. Laying the foundation for their success starts with a modern and safe learning environment. It's why we're also investing to ensure internet is connected to every high school in Ontario this September. It's also bolstered by a modernized curricula, strong efforts to counter racism, and ensuring our system rewards hard work and restores the principle of a meritocracy.
Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown expresses his gratitude towards the provincial government for funding the building of 2 new schools in the city of Brampton, one of the fastest growing cities in Canada. He says, "Our aim is to create a locally tailored solution that offers leading undergraduate and graduate degrees in key areas that align with the in-demand skills of the future. We want to develop and retain our homegrown talent right here in Brampton." Many schools in Ontario have shown improvements in overall rating, as released by Fraser Institute earlier this year. However, Minister Lattre says that students in Ontario deserve more. He says that it is unacceptable that too many schools in our province continue to lack the investment that our students deserve. Our government is modernizing our schools, our curriculum, and the delivery of learning to ensure students are set up to succeed in an increasingly changing world. Indeed, investing into the education system not only benefits the students, but it also opens doors to many opportunities for economic growth and to building a strong foundation for the future. In Toronto, Sabrina Solano de los Reyes, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
And that's our program for today. And again, if you're going to be out and about, don't forget the umbrella thunderstorms forecast throughout the day today. On behalf of our Canadian news team, I wish you all good health. Take care of others and take care of yourselves. Stay home, stay safe, and stay tuned to Eagle News for accurate and balanced coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic and other current affairs. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Stay tuned for Anong Say Nyo.
Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Ito ay nangangailangan ng patnubay at gabay ng magulang para sa mga batang manonood.
Anong sa inyo? Annyeong mujur konnichiwa, kumusta? Hi everyone, and it's me, the DJ, and welcome to Anong sa inyo, the show where we ask you guys what you want to see because your opinion is what important. All right, everyone, and today we are going to be talking about change. So I am going to be talking about how I was able to play the piano again because of change, something like that. So let's talk about the story. I have a story time for everyone. So when I was around 7, I started playing the piano. My mom was the one who inspired me to learn how to play, and she helped me find a teacher, and I was able to take piano lessons. To my teacher, I miss you so much, po, and I'm so grateful for you. I wish I could take piano lessons again. So she's the one who taught me the foundation of playing the piano. After a while, I got quite busy at school, so I wasn't able to take piano lessons anymore, fortunately. I started learning by myself, which was kind of a good thing because I did learn how to play the piano by memorizing the songs or by ear. It's kind of cool. But unfortunately, it was also kind of bad because I forgot how to read notes. Anyway, fast forward to the present, and sadly, I do not have time to play the piano anymore. And it's probably been more than a year since I played the piano for more than 5 minutes seriously. So, very sad. But from now on, things will change. Hashtag change. So we all know that because of COVID-19, many of us are at home, just like me. That includes me. So for me, I believe that part of adopting or adjusting to change is to learn new things or relearn new things, just like I did. And that includes learning how to play the piano. Well, for me, yes. So I am playing the piano again, or rather I am trying to make more time for it. So today I will show you what I did to relearn how to play the piano. We'll be going through some of the basics, like the do, re, mi's, those are the notes, and the piano keys, the chords, yeah, those things. Later on, please watch my attempt on a piano song cover in like first time ever, gazillion years. Probably not your word, but anyway, to know which song it is, you have to stay tuned until later. So yeah, let's play or relearn how to play the piano together. And but for now, please do watch our Ate of the Day.
Hi! Ako si Ate Angela from New Era University and welcome to my music class. Para sa araw na ito, tuturuan ko kayo kung paano tumugtog ng Baba Black Sheep sa keyboard. Pero syempre, beginners lang muna. Ang pagtugtog ng piano ay isang magandang activity para ma-practice natin ang mga daliri, mata, at memorya. Mas makakatulong ito sa mga batang 5 to 9 years old para mas mapabuti pa nila ang kanilang kakayahan sa mga ito. Mga bata, maaaring sa umpisa ay hindi natin agad ito makukuha. Pero okay lang yun. Lagi lang natin tatandaan, practice makes perfect. Gagaling din tayo. Tiwala lang. Para naman sa mga ate at kuya na gusto magturo sa mga bata, lagi lang natin tatandaan na gumamit ng mga simpleng salita para mas maliwanag sa mga bata ang ating itinuturo. Gumamit rin ng mga markers para may palatandaan sila at maiwasan ng pagkalito. Maaaring gumamit ng mga color coding, ng sulat, at stickers, at marami pang iba sa bawat solfa syllables, nota, o sa piano keys mismo. At habang gumagaling na sila, maaari na natin itong bawasan para naman maging independent sila. Ano pang iniintay natin? Tara na, magsimula na tayo! Bago ko kayo turuan, tutugtugin ko muna ang Baba Black Sheep. Sabayan ninyo ako Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Yes sir, 3 bags full. 1 for the master, 1 for the dame, 1 for the little boy who lives down the lane. Ayan, di ba madali lang? Ito ang mga keys na dapat ninyong tugtugin. Ito ang F for Fa, G for Sol, A for La, A sharp, isang black piano key pagkatapos ni A, C for Do, D for Re, E for Mi, F for Fa. Ngayong alam na ninyo ang keys, ituturo ko na sa inyo kung paano tugtugin ang Baba Black Sheep part by part habang tinutugtog ko ito. First part, Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Or FF, CC, DEF, DC. Try natin. Isa pa. Second part, yes sir, 3 bags full. Or A sharp, AA, GGF. Try natin. Isa pa. Third part, 1 for the master and 1 for the dame. Or CCC, A sharp, AAA, G. Try po natin. Isa pa. Last
part. One for the little boy who lives down the lane. Or C, 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 A sharp, C, D, A sharp, A, G, G, F. Try natin. Sa pa? Yay! Tapos na! Ang galing natin! Nakatugtog tayo ng Baba Black Sheep sa keyboard. Di lang tayo natuto, nag-enjoy pa tayo. Basta, lagi lang natin tatandaan na, practice makes perfect. Muli, ako si Ate Angela para sa Net25 Kids, isang proud education student ng New Era University. We live in interesting times.